What is up, everybody? Today I'm doing pork belly, so stay tuned. All right, I got a delicious pork belly here, and for those of you who don't know, this is where the bacon comes from. If you cure this pork belly, slow smoke it, you'll have some delicious bacon, and I've done that. Now, if you can find some pork belly, you can make some delicious barbecue with it. My favorite thing to do with a pork belly is to cut this thing up into little cubes and make some awesome pork belly burnt ends. It's a fantastic appetizer for any party, and people will be blown away if you make them. Now, pork belly is a super fatty cut of meat, and if you're going to look for one, try and find one that is more lean. When I was looking for pork bellies, a lot of them were really thin on some of the ends, and if you looked at them, there was a ton of fat on them. This one that I found is nice and lean, plenty of meat on here. This is what you want when you're looking for a pork belly. Now for today's cook, I'm gonna take this thing, I'm gonna cut it in half, and I'm gonna smoke it two different ways. I'm gonna do a traditional brisket style pork belly with salt, pepper, garlic rub, but then the other one, I'm gonna go with a more sweeter, complex rub, because pork belly can take a lot of great flavors, and with all this fat on here, you really need some sweetness. But enough talking about it, let's get this cut up and we can get these seasoned. All right, so before I go ahead and cut this up, let's get this seasoning made. So for this seasoning, we're gonna start with 1 part celery salt, 2 parts black pepper, half a part garlic powder, 1 part paprika powder, half a part chili powder, half a part cumin, half a part of onion powder, half a part of mustard powder, and then last, 1 part brown sugar. And there you go. It's a perfect seasoning for pork right here. Now just make sure you go in and break apart this brown sugar. It can tend to get a little clumpy, so just break it up and mix it in with the other seasonings. And once that's broken up, give it a shake. Get everything well mixed up. And there you have it. Beautiful rub for this pork belly. So let's get these pork bellies back and we'll get them seasoned. Here we are. Let's take a look at this thing. You can see on this end, it's nice and thick over here. There's a lot of scrappy pieces here, and you can see it got cut pretty good right there. Now, you can go ahead and trim some of this off if you want. Like, you got a little silver skin here. Might just go in and give this a little trimming off, something like that. For the most part, I want to try and keep this as together as possible. I want to keep all this meat on here. I know it doesn't look the best, but I do want to leave it on there if I can. Not the prettiest pork belly, but it's going to taste good. I'm just going to trim this right down the center here. We're going to have 2 nice cuts pork belly. So let's go ahead and do that now. Just like that. And there you go. You can see this is a nice lean piece of pork belly. Not really too much fat in there. This is gonna be perfect. All right, so we'll get these seasoned. And this first one, I'm just using my SPG blend. What this consists of is 1 part kosher salt, 2 parts black pepper, half a part of garlic powder, and a half a part of paprika powder. And this stuff is absolutely amazing on basically anything. I like to make a big batch, throw it in an old seasoning bottle, and then I have it for whenever I need it. You're gonna want plenty of seasoning on here. You just wanna get the edges best you can. That looks pretty good like that. All right, this one's all set. Let's get this spun around. We'll get this one seasoned. So we have the basic seasoning. Now I want to use that complex rub I just made with the sugar in there, because sugar and pork go so well together because of how fatty it is. Then all those extra flavors are going to be fantastic on this pork. And again, go ahead and put a liberal amount on here. And you know that we added the celery salt instead of regular salt, which I found is a little less salty than regular salt. So it allows you to add a little more rub. But I really like the added flavor of the celery in there. And this is going to have a beautiful color as well. This flipped over. Pork belly is some of the best meat you can get. If it's cooked right and properly, it's absolutely delicious. As long as you pick out the right cut, like I said, you don't want one that's too fatty, because then you're just gonna have big chunks of fat you're eating, and that's just, I mean, it is good, but you want that meat in there. You need a little offsetting. Let's just get our sides here. Looking good. These are gonna be some delicious pork bellies. So I think we're good. We got our 2 pork bellies. You can see them side by side. This one's just got a little more color, but these are ready. Let's get them out on the smoker. All right, so I'm using oak today. Let's get these pork bellies on. All right, so I want to put these so that that thicker end is where the heat's coming from. There we go, just like that. Close this up. We'll let these things smoke. All right, so I'm gonna be running my pit around 250 degrees. That's where I want to try and maintain this. So I'm going to let these pork bellies go probably for around 2 hours or so before I go out there and check on them. Now what we're looking for is to get a really nice bark on these things, and you want them to get nice and tender. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to wrap these up or not. I've never tried to do a full pork belly like this on my offset smoker. If I get to the point where I got a really nice crust on the pork belly, but it's not finished yet, I'm going to pull them off and wrap them up and finish them that way. So I'll see you guys out there when I check on these pork bellies. All right, we're at about 4.5 hours on the pork belly. Let's give them a check. Oh yeah, don't mind the cauliflower little experiment I'm doing. So these things are looking really nice. They got a real nice bark on them so far. Not really quite where I want them. Let's check them for tenderness. Oh yeah, they're nice and tender. That fat's rendering down nicely. Let's see what we got for temperature here. So we're at about 170, and this one, 170, 171. All right, so they're coming along nice. I want to take these a little further. I want to get them to around 195 degrees. So these need a little more time. I don't really like where the bark is yet, so I don't really want to wrap them, but I do want this meat to start getting a little tender. So what I think I'm going to do is wrap these in a foil boat method. Get some foil, lay that in. Just like that. We'll do the other one. Check this bark out. Thing looks fantastic. This is gonna be good. All right, there we go. Just gonna let these go. Let this bark get real nice and dark. I wanna take these up to about 195 degrees, but I'll see you when they're finished. All right, guys, these pork bellies are done. I let them go on the smoker for another hour. I checked the temperature and we were right around 200 degrees. Pulled them off. I let them rest for another hour, and here we are. So let's get these out of the tinfoil boats, and we'll get them sliced up. These things smell fantastic, and they look great. We get to dump that juice over here. It's good stuff. All right, let's get these sliced up. Give them a try. All right, these pork bellies look amazing. Give you a little close up here. Check that out. Nice, beautiful crust, nice and crispy. Feels nice and tender. This is a salt, pepper, garlic one. You can see the bark is kind of the same on both, so no difference in bark really. This one might be just a touch darker. Let's slice these up. So I'll slice both these right in half. Ooh, yeah, nice. Just check out this. Got tons of meat on here, not too much fat, super juicy. This is a nice pork belly. This is salt, pepper, garlic one. Yeah, that looks good, huh? Plenty of meat on there, nice and juicy. Let me get a couple slices here. So that's the rub with the sugar. And that's the salt, pepper, garlic rub. Look at that. Holy crap, that's amazing. Fantastic piece of pork belly, nice and tender. All right, it's time to give these a try. All right, I'm super happy with how this pork came out, but I need to give it a try and see which one I like better. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a piece of the salt, pepper, garlic pork belly. And look at this, super tender. That's good, oh my. That's really tasty stuff right there. Smoky, beautiful pork flavor on there. Salt, pepper, garlic does a great job just letting the pork speak for itself. And since I was able to get a piece of pork that was very lean, not a lot of fat, this is fantastic. A lot of times you'll have too much fat in a pork belly and it's just a little overwhelming. This is perfect. Let me give this other rub a try, see which one I like better. And again, super tender, just falls apart. Very good, not too sweet. Got a lot of good flavors on there. I don't know which one I like better. I'm gonna give this one another try though. Now back to this one. All right. It's a tough choice, guys. So I just ate 2 pieces of pork belly. Both were absolutely phenomenal. I've never made pork belly that was this good. Usually when I make it, like I said, I'll do pork belly burn-ins that are phenomenal. They're covered with sugar. They got a lot of sauce on them. But this is good stuff. And I think the main reason this is that good is because of how lean it is. It doesn't have too much fat in there. I'm leaning more towards this one because it's a little more salty than this. Maybe if you add a little more salt to this rub, it might be a little better. I like the salty and garlic flavor I'm getting from this one, but the sweetness is really nice on a pork belly. You can't go wrong with either one of these guys. They're absolutely phenomenal. I highly suggest giving these a shot. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, make sure to subscribe right over here. And if you want another awesome barbecue video, check this one out over here. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. But most importantly, get out there and smoke something good.